Two people die in a baffling hit and run in Washougal. Clark County could soon be home to marijuana businesses. And our own Jacob Granneman takes to the skies for Heroes Night. Those stories and much more on today's edition of the Week in Review from ClarkCountyToday.com. Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Chris Brown. We start in Washougal, where two people visiting from Germany died tragically on Tuesday when a hit-and-run driver crashed through a fence at Sandy Swimming Hole Park, running them over while they sunbathed on the beach. Police arrested 71-year-old David Croswell of Washougal and charged him with vehicular homicide and deadly hit-and-run. Police say Croswell was highly intoxicated when he was questioned 2 hours after the incident. He is currently in the Clark County Jail on $500,000 bail. Next week, the Clark County Council will hear public testimony and potentially vote to overturn the 5-year-old moratorium on marijuana-related businesses in the unincorporated areas. Earlier this month, the County Planning Commission voted 3-2 in recommending the ban be overturned with some limitations. Now, if the council votes to reverse course on marijuana, it would come despite opposition from the county sheriff and public health department. The move would potentially bring in around $500,000 in tax revenue to the county within the next few years. In case you missed it, we ran the third part of our series looking at neighbor complaints surrounding the Vancouver Navigation Center near 4th Plain and Grand earlier this week. This one took you inside the day center operated by Share, and we heard from some of the people who use the shelter regularly. Neighbors have continued to keep pressure on the city, urging action to reduce crime and other issues they say have increased dramatically since the Navigation Center opened last November. Vancouver police now say they expect to have data from an in-depth analysis of criminal activity around the day center available sometime in early July. Now, those reports were the topic of ClarkCountyToday.com editor Ken Vance's column this week, in which he expresses his discouragement with our collective inability to provide solutions that could improve the homeless crisis and the issues that contribute to it, including addiction, mental illness, and depression. Vance says the crisis seems to be worsening despite the fact that unemployment in the United States is at a 50-year low, and most economists claim the economy is thriving. Vance doesn't attempt to provide solutions to the crisis, but he strongly encourages our community to continue the conversation about what can be done. Many of you have done just that, and we encourage you to join in the conversation on our website and social media platforms. This past weekend, people gathered in East Vancouver for the annual Heroes Night celebration. Our own Jacob Granneman had the chance to view the much-loved event from a unique perspective.
Heroes Night was the brainchild of a couple of ladies in the marketing section. Their husbands served in the military, and they wanted to find a way to honor those who have served on the front lines, whether it's overseas or here on the home front.
Last Saturday, I had the opportunity to live out a young boy's dream, and to do so in honor of the men and women who have served and do serve this country. For Heroes Night 2019, historic biplane owners from Clark County would be, for the third time, flying high above the festivities. This year, I would be flying with them. Sitting in the front cockpit of Camus man Kevin Kreider's World War II Waco biplane, I strapped my camera to my side and slid on the headset as we prepared to take off.
I do this, the reason I do the Heroes Night is in honor and tribute to them.
Once up in the air, it was as amazing and awe-inspiring as I thought it would be. Seeing my home from above, in an open-air cockpit, rushing along at 80 miles an hour. I could end my career right there and be happy.
It gets in your blood, and it's just, like I said, it's kind of a disease that, you can't get rid of, but it's not so bad to have, so.
I'm so very thankful for the job I get to do, and the people who keep my country free so I can do that job. For Clark County Today, I'm Jacob Granneman.
Wow, great stuff, Jacob. Thanks for doing that story. This week at the Port of Vancouver, workers are offloading 198 brand new wind turbine blades, the largest shipment ever. Each 160-foot blade is constructed of fiberglass, plastics, carbon, and other composites and weigh close to 20,000 pounds each. Denmark-based Vestas, which made the blades, is the world's largest supplier of wind turbines and wind energy-related technology. The port expects more shipments like this in the near future, even though this may be the largest this year, said Port Commissioner Jerry Oliver. Pacificor, the partly Portland-based company building the turbines from the Vestas blades, will assemble the towers with the new blades starting now and going through November. The Marengo Wind Project, as it's known, sits close to the city of Dayton in southeastern Washington. Those blade upgrades will bring about a 35% increase in power generation for the 12-year-old wind farm. Now it's time for your weekly sports update from our own Paul Valencia.
Hello, everyone. A busy week in sports. Let's start with the NBA. Yes, there is an NBA and Clark County connection this week. Robert Franks, former Evergreen High School standout, who went to Washington State and led the Pac-12 in scoring his senior year, well, he'll be signing a professional basketball contract with the Charlotte Hornets organization. A two-way contract allows Robo to play in the NBA's developmental league, as well as spend up to 45 days with the Hornets. As soon as Franks agreed to the deal with the Hornets, he headed to the mall to buy a Charlotte hat for his dad. In baseball news, we featured former Union Titan Jack Bauer and former Skyview Storm Brody Barnum. They are both homegrown Raptors playing summer ball in Clark County. With Jack, we had some fun with his name, Jack Bauer, and his number, 24, from the old TV series. For Brody, we did not talk about the tweet heard round Clark County from years ago, but he still remembers it. Friends started calling him World after I tweeted, "It's Brody Barnum's world and we're just living in it." I had used similar wording a handful of times through the years whenever an athlete was doing crazy things. For whatever reason, this tweet went nuts over social media. Anyway, his teammates on the Raptors don't know anything about it, so let's keep this a secret, okay? In other baseball news, the U.S. Military AllStars started their 2019 tour in Clark County. The team has active duty military members from all branches of the armed forces. They are in Washington for a couple of weeks, and then they will head to the Midwest. Back to basketball, Caden Perry of Battleground announced his intention to sign with Gonzaga. Interestingly, Caden just finished his sophomore year at Battleground, so it will be some time before he can sign his letter of intent.
All right, thank you, Paul. And there you have it, your quick look at some of the stories you'll find this week at clarkcountytoday.com. Got a story idea? Shoot us an email, news@clarkcountytoday.com. And of course, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date and be part of the lively conversation about what's happening in your community. For all of us at clarkcountytoday.com, I'm Chris Brown. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.